Good morning, everyone. In today's video, we're going to discuss about media literacy. So, before we go into the further discussion, first we have to tackle about the definition of media literacy, uh, because we have a various of sources for their definition and various individuals or persons that given a definition for media literacy. So let's go first by the definition of Link in 2018. So media literacy by Link is coined the term media, and that refers to all electronic or digital means and print or artistic visuals used to transmit messages through reading or print media, through seeing or visual media, through hearing or audio media, or changing and playing with interactive media, or some combinations of each. And media can be component of active learning strategies such as group discussions or case studies. And that was the definition of Link. And there are also by Firestone in 1993. He said, media literacy is a ability to access, analyze, evaluate, and create media. Media literate youth and adults can understand the complex messages received from television, radio, internet, newspapers, magazines, books, billboards, video games, music, and all other forms of media. So therefore, media literacy skills are included in the educational standards in language arts, social studies, health science, and other subjects. Many educators have discovered that media literacy is effective and engaging way to apply critical thinking skills to a wide range of issues. There are also the definition by Ontario Ministry of Education, year 1989. So he said, media literacy stressed that media literacy means helping students develop an informed and critical understanding of the nature of mass media, the techniques used, and their impact. It aims to enhance students' understanding and appreciation how media work, how they produce meaning, how they are organized, and how they construct reality. More so, it intends to provide students the ability to create media products. And that was said by Ontario. And lastly, we have from Hubs in 1997. Media literacy, said by Hub, is the ability to identify different types of media from wide array of sources and understand the messages they bring. So that are some of the definition of media literacy. So let's go further to its concepts, or the concepts of media literacy. First concept, it is the ability to critically assess the accuracy and validity of information transmitted by the mass media and produce information through various forms. Second, it is also known as media education. It is the ability to realize that all kinds of media show a representation of reality. Then third, it is a process of accessing, decoding, evaluating, analyzing, and creating both print and electronic media by Aldner Heath in 1993. So the fourth, it depicts experience of reading text and designing hypertext made possible through technology. That was said by Hobbes in 2007. So fifth, it pertains to understanding how to use today's technology, how to operate equipment, use various softwares, and explores the internet. Then sixth, As a 21st century approach to education, media literacy builds understanding of the role of media in society as well as the essential skills of inquiry and self-expression necessary for democratic citizens. The number seven concept. It represents response to the complexity of the ever-changing electronic environment and communication channels. Then the eighth, critical evaluation of media requires the ability to analyze and disseminate various features to others. And in the ninth, it is about teaching critical media management strategies, including its ICTs in schools and learning centers. And then lastly, number 10, it includes the ability to perform effective internet searches, awareness and respect of intellectual property, and copyright law, and the ability to identify truth from fake news. Through the advancement of our technology in today's generation, it was also aligned into the social media or media. So there are some challenges, disadvantages, or consequences in our media literacy in education. So I will give you the number of challenges or disadvantages in media literacy. First, they lead to individualism, spending too much time on the internet and watching television usually impedes socialization with friends, family, and others. Second, some media contents are not suitable for children. And third, a newspaper is geographically selective. And fourth, the increase in advertisements in television and radio makes them less attractive. And fifth, the internet can be a possible way for scams, fraud, and hacking. And sixth, media can be addictive that may result in people's decreased productivity. And seven, they can cause health hazards such as radiation effects, poor eyesight, hearing defects, and others. Then eighth, they may induce drugs and alcohol use. The ninth, they can lead to personal injury by imitating the stunts showcased in media. Then lastly, number 10, they can ruin reputation through an anonymous account, malicious scandals, false accusations, and rumors. Media literacy is a very essential in our today's life, especially in today's generation because we are living around in these advanced technologies and that was in line with social media, and even we don't accept it but we need it. So there are some tips that media literacy is not that we must have to know. Media literacy is not media bashing, is not media literacy. However, media literacy sometimes involves criticizing the media. Next, merely producing media is not media literacy. Although media literacy should include media production. And next, just teaching with videos and ROMS or other mediated content is not media literacy. One must also teach about media. And simply looking for political agendas, stereotypes, or misinterpretations is not media literacy. There should also be an exploration of the systems making those different representations appear normal. And looking at a media message or a mediated experience from just one perspective is not media literacy, because media should be examined from multiple positions or perspectives. And next is, media literacy does not mean don't watch. It means watch carefully or think critically. So there are also essentials for five essential concepts necessary for analysis in media messages. It is very important for us to know this kind of analyzing messages. So here are them. So number one, all media messages are constructed. Media texts are built just as surely as building and highways are built. The key behind this concept is figuring out who constructed the message, out of what materials, and to what effect. And second, media messages are constructed using a creative language with its own rules. Each form of communication has its own creative language. Scary musics heightens fear. Camera loose close-ups convey intimacy. Big headlines signal significance. Understanding the grammar, syntax, and metaphor of media language helps us to be less susceptible to manipulation. Third, different people experience the same messages differently. Audiences play a role in interpreting media messages because each audience member brings to the message a unique set of life experiences. Differences in age, gender, education, and cultural upbringing will generate unique interpretations. In fourth, media have embedded values and points of views or perspectives, as we all know. So because they are constructed, media messages carry a subtext of who and what is important, at least to the person or people creating the message. The choice of a character's age, gender, or race. The selection of a setting and the actions within the plot are just some of the ways that values become embedded in a television show, a movie, or an advertisement. Then fifth and lastly, most media messages are organized to gain profit and power. Much of the world's media were developed as money-making enterprises. Newspapers and magazines lay out their pages with ad first. The space remaining is devoted to the news. Likewise, commercials are part and parcel of most television watching. Now, the internet has before an international platform through which groups or individual can attempt to persuade. So, by considering all the core concepts behind in every media message, you equip yourself with an ability to analyze and interpret a message and to accept or reject its legitimacy. And that was all the coverage of my report about media literacy. But before I end this video, I will bring you into the reality about the summary of our learnings in our lesson for today about media literacy. As being a social studies student, I have and I born in 20th century born. I can say that I am a media literate in today as for now. And I will bring you in my own idea, and you can object me if you think that I am wrong in according for your own perspectives. But I will express my own idea to give it to you as a summary of my report. So every time we use our cellular phones or digital phones, we often get into the some various different social media platforms such like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, ganyan. Uh, I think uh, I think you also recognize or the what was always na laging lumalabas doon sa mga platforms such like the war in Ukraine particularly. There were always some of sort of videos always popping up when we enter that social media platforms because it is a trending event or news particularly in Europe and all throughout the world. Did you ever think that a simple heart or like or whatever reaction there in that platform, we are participating a social media warfare. Social media today is not just used in businesses, in advertising, in become famous, but it was also innovated and used in warfare in such other person or countries likely Ukraine versus Russia. They were posting their own perspectives, their ideology, their ideas to gain support for the whole world. And from the different side, they also post their own perspectives and ideas to defend their cause. So that's what I mean. A simple reaction in such kind of post, it means we are already taking party or participating a warfare for kind of social media warfare. So not just by the internationally or globally, we are experiencing this social media warfare, and until today in this electoral campaign season in the Philippines, we are various of propagandas for the politicians who is running or aspiring as most likely the president in the Philippines. So what have we noticed? As a social studies student, I have noticed there are so many various black propagandas emerging and different kinds of media platforms for them to gain power, influence, and sadly violent actions or getting involved in such kinds of false informations to dominate or to gain the fame or the favor of the people. And just that was my own idea, and it was the end of my report.